First, we want to say that part of what you say is what we've been talking about this expansion. In other words, this is a time of what we like to call reawakening. It is a time, and it's logical that it would be the time. The leading edge time is always such a time where more people are asking for more things. In other words, it's like a magnifying glass is laid over everything that is, so that everything that is bigger. And now that everything that is bigger, it's playing off of each other in a more emphatic way. That's just the logic of this leading edge time. And so we want to soothe you by saying it's always been that way. That's why from Nostradamus to Revelations to all of, that's why so many who begin to tap in come forth with these kinds of predictions, because they're tapping into an energy stream. In other words, what's happening here as Esther is visiting, allowing us to visit with you through her, is that she is allowing the vibration that is Abraham to be the dominant vibration within her. So our knowing is flowing through her, but she is also the bridge that is conveying from the physical format what non-physical is saying, and from the non-physical format what physical is saying. In other words, so both points of vibrational relativity are in some regard active here together. And so it's logical that someone offering such a translation is letting you know that these are leading edge times and that the energy is faster. But there is also the awareness of resistance that is present. And so logic has to tell you that the faster the stream goes, that the more important it is for those in the stream to go with the flow. So now look at your world today. Your world today, with all of its interaction with each other, from your personal lives to your global views, you have the energy moving faster than it has ever moved before, which is a consequence of being on the leading edge. But then when you look at what's going on in your world, can't you feel the power of the asking? In other words, a mother who's in her bed holding her babies, fearing that the bomb is going to drop on her house, is sending out more poignant rockets of desire than someone who's laying in a cornfield in Iowa not worried about the bomb dropping. And so there are all kinds of things as your world is becoming more agitated. And we are not even saying to you that it is more agitated today than it has ever been before. We're just saying that with this leading edge and more people living more life today, that more of you are asking in a more emphatic way than you ever have before. And so the energy of your planet is moving fast, which means you got to do your part in staying up to speed with it, or you're going to have an interesting experience. Never before has it been so important that you go with the flow. Then now a little bit of turning upstream goes a long way in negative creation, you see. Okay. So that is what psychics and readers are picking up on. They can feel that the stream's moving faster, and they can feel, and depending upon who they're focused upon, if you're focused upon a cluster of humanity that is particularly resistant in nature, then your prediction would be more tragic than if you were focused upon a cluster of humanity that is more going with the flow. As we look at the babies that are being born today, who are up to speed with the energy stream, we have no problem knowing the security of the future of life on planet Earth, because the stream's moving faster than it's ever moved before, but the babies being born today are up to speed with the stream that's moving faster. That's why old people are so grumpy, because they've practiced not staying up to speed. And so we just want you to understand that so many predictions are, as you say, oh, well, it's the harmonic convergence. And the majority of the planet woke up the day after and said, did I miss something? Then there was Y2K. And the majority of the planet wakes up the next day and says, much to do about nothing. And this will be the same sort of thing. Everyone who stands on the leading edge has a sense of their mortality, first of all, and you have a sense of the power of the energy that is flowing through you. And we think it is just a combination of all of that that is causing a variety of such predictions. We would like to give you our prediction for your future. You are the most expanded mass consciousness that has ever walked the face of this earth. Your ability to interact with one another through the technology that has amassed, and we are speaking of your Googling, your internet, we're speaking of all of the ways in which you can interact with one another, we're speaking of your CNN, your television, we're speaking of your news media, we're speaking of the prolific way that you can write books. There has never been a faster moving energy, and the potential for well-being has never been greater. The potential for wellness has never been greater. And the potential for illness has never been greater. And how you play it as an individual simply means which way are you turned in the stream. If you are talking about the stream of humanity, we want to say to you, you must not worry about this stream. In other words, source energy is what set your earth in motion. And you have not been able to scrape enough dirt together to even launch it into one crummy little moon, let alone a whole planet. In other words, you are not creating things like that from this vantage point. That has been set into motion, and we promise you it is secure. Do you notice that you don't lie in your bed at night and make your things to do today list? Well, I'll make sure the sun comes up in the morning. That's the first thing that I'll do. And I'll adjust the temperature around the planet to make sure that everything's all right. And I'll keep my blood pumping all night. That's a big one. There are just so many things that you don't have to worry about, you see. And the longevity of your planet is certainly one of them. But if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be aware of whether we're upstream or downstream. And we would be every day working to go with the flow. So you will notice a continued exaggeration of what you're seeing already. And it is partially what you are speaking about here, although they're putting a date on it. Yeah. An exaggeration. This is the exaggeration that you're seeing. The crevasse between those who have and those who have not is greater. The crevasse between those who have abundance and those who are in poverty is a more stark gap. The expanse between those who are well and those who are sick, it's more apparent. But it isn't something that you can socially deal with. It's something that you can only individually deal with. Yes. In other words, just make sure that you're going with the stream and you'll thrive. And through the clarity of your example, teach it to others. You can't legislate it. You can't orchestrate it. You can't make it happen in the life of someone else any more than there could be a raging stream and someone could be in the stream and you would have no power to assist them. In other words, because you're going with your flow in the way that you are and they're going with it or against it in the way that they are. We hope we have soothed you, because life on planet Earth has never had greater potential for abundant thriving ever. These are the best of times. These are leading edge times. And when you think about it, anything else is unthinkable when you understand the expansion of the universe in the way that we do. In other words, it is an expanding universe. It must expand. And so you can't ask for it not to. So when you ask for the universe to expand and you don't keep up with the expansion, then you write books of doom. Okay. But when you ask for expansion and you keep up with the expansion, then you write books of glory, you see. And the thing that we want human to come around to understanding, and we believe that you are, and all of you do in the moment that you croak, whether you do it in your physical body or not, we want you to understand that so much that you think you're looking for in the afterlife in terms of the love of God and the appreciation of all of that and the rewards, it's all meant to be experienced right here, right now. There is no more godly place than on the furthest, most expanded leading edge of that which is God, you see. It just doesn't get any more spiritual than being out here, the physical embodiment of that which is spirit. But when you pinch yourself off from it and you start to wither, then you worry and wonder. And we say, so don't do that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think two things that I heard from you. I don't have to build a bomb shelter. And the second one is that when I go rafting the next time, I'll make more of an emphasis of going downstream.
Well, when you go whitewater rafting, you've got no real choice.
No, right.
And that
well,
really is, that is really the point that we're wanting to make here too. You have no real choice. You can't help but expand, and you can't help but become more. And when you fight it, you don't feel good. So stop fighting it. Let yourself be the beloved, blessed, expanding, magnificent being that you are. And when you fight that, you don't feel so good.
Well, I'm going to refocus and allow it to come in. And
One
thank
other
you
thing we
very
want
much.
to say to you is that what you do is not so important. In other words, if you believe that you are in jeopardy and you build a bomb shelter and it makes you feel better, then that's not wrong action. Anything that you do that makes you feel better. And so what we're noticing is that people who are in a place, we hear you, people who are in a place of great despair are more likely, and fear and feeling of powerlessness, they're more likely to need the bomb shelter.
Okay.
And what we're saying is, building a bomb shelter when you feel like that is not wrong action, because it might give you a little bit of security that you don't have without it.
Okay.
But we are saying that if you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you are in vibrational alignment with who you are, and you are understanding the well-being of who you are, it would not occur to you to build a bomb shelter.
Sure.
So do you get what we're saying? The action is not right or wrong. Anything that you do that makes you feel better. Tracy called Esther. Tracy is Jerry and Esther's daughter. And she had a concern about her little one. You're trying to get us off the stage?
Yeah, okay.
She had a concern about her little one. And Esther said, do you think I should take Luke to the doctor? And Esther said, I don't think it matters one way or another, because I know that he is fine. But if it makes you feel better, then do it.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel better, if it's easier for you to expect well-being under those conditions, then take that action. Good time for segment
Thank you very
refreshment.
much. I think I'm going to go rafting down the New River.
We are complete.